Hello! Today we are going to create some spooky tracks using GarageBand. So let's open up the GarageBand app and I'll play you an example of what we're going to create. Okay, I think you get the idea. So you can see we've created maybe more than a piece of music, it's more sound effects that you would find behind a spooky movie, that kind of thing. So if you've already opened GarageBand, you might open to a file like this. You need to press the paper icon. Otherwise, if you're on this page, you need to press the plus icon. We're going to start with today the strings because we need a drone sound behind the track. So you heard that long, low hum that we were getting behind the track. That's called a drone. We're going to use a stringed instrument to do that, and we're going to use the cello. So what I need to do first is I'm going to choose notes in the corner, and that changes it from chords to notes. And then I'm going to select the cello, and it's highlighted by a spotlight there. And all we're going to do is we're going to hold one low note. So the strings here, you can see maybe on your screen that the one at the bottom is slightly wider than the ones at the top. So that is a lower sound it's going to create. And if we go close to the neck, then it'll create a low sound. So I'm going to hold it like this. And maybe I can do a little bit. Slow pulling it up, then pulling it back. So that's all we're going to record first of all. So make sure your track's at 1, press the record and get in position. Okay, there you go. So that's our first bit behind our track. That sounds good. So we need to go back to the tracks here, and we're going to add a new track. So that's going to be our drone. Our next track is going to be strings again, and we're going to create a little bit of like footsteps in the background. So again, we're going to need notes, but I'm wanting to choose a higher instrument. So cello's low, bass is even lower. We're going to choose viola, which is slightly lower than a violin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do single notes. Rather than bowed notes, I would like pizzicato. So that is where on stringed instruments you often use a bow, but pizzicato is using your finger. So we are going to use our fingers virtually, and I need to hold this in the left hand side to make it do pizzicato. So here, this is bowed, this is pizzicato. Okay, bowed, pizzicato. And then we are going to create a pizzicato melody. So imagine their footsteps going along as you are going along. So let's press the back icon to make sure we're at 1. Hit the record, make sure you're holding the pizzicato, and let's put some of these in. Okay, so I've got that pizzicato in there now. So we're going to go back to the tracks and we're going to put another track in. This time I'm going to use the piano. So I need to go to plus and I need to scroll until I see the keyboard, which is the piano. So I click on the keyboard. Now it might open in chords. If it opens in chords, press this button on the right hand side and it's going to open in our keyboard. But what we're going to do is we want the higher notes on the keyboard. Now, a whole keyboard doesn't fit on one little bit of iPad screen that we've got. But if we press up here, this button, this moves the keyboard to our left so that we're accessing the higher notes, because the lower notes are on the left-hand side of the keyboard, higher notes are on the right. So if I press this arrow 3 times, you hear we have high notes. So what I'm going to do with those high notes is I'm going to choose a group of 3. And that group of 3 is going to be 3 notes right beside each other that include a black note. So like this. Do you hear that sound? That's very kind of spooky because they're almost not going quite together, so it makes it sound spooky. So we're going to record a few patterns like that in the first half, so until we get to the end of bar 4. And then, so bar 4 is up here, then I would like to hold a chord. So I'm going to choose 3 black notes and 3 white notes. I'll try and move between the two. It's not that easy to do. So I'm going to start with, and then do this. So that's going to take a little bit of practice. So practice it, play it along, and then play it with the track. So we can record. So I'm going to make sure I'm at the back and then press the record button. Okay, you notice there I actually got a bit carried away and I only started these notes at 5. That doesn't really matter because it doesn't need to be exact. So we're trying to create sounds that are slightly off anyway, and that's what's creating the kind of spooky, kind of, it makes you feel weird inside sounds. So that's fine. I'm going to keep it as is, but if you made a mistake, you can press the back arrow and then just redo it. I'm going to go back up here. And I'm going to create piano again. So let's go to keyboard. So we're on the chords, and in the chords you have happy chords. And you've got sad chords, which is with the little M, which stands for minor. But we're going to adjust one of these chords. So if I go into the settings and I edit chords, I'm going to choose my E minor, and I would like to replace it with a dim. So diminished is a chord that I like to call the haunted house chord. So it sounds unfinished, so diminished. And then I'm going to make it a diminished add 9. So scroll this until you see add 9. So we're going for E diminished add 9 and press done. So now you hear it sounds really odd chord, but it sounds good along with our music. So maybe doing this every now and again. So like maybe on every bar line. Let's try that. Okay, so there is a little sound. You notice I kind of tried to get that in a repeated pattern of some sort. So now we have most of our track. If I go back to the tracks here, I think I'm going to add the last thing, which is a little bit of voice. So I need to add the plus, and scroll until I see the voice audio recorder, and I choose voice, and I would like you to create a sound. So I have decided on a cackle, so a ha 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 ha, like that, but we can enhance our cackle so it sounds even better in the recording. So what I'm going to do is, for this, I am going to press the record button once we're halfway through. So I'm maybe going to choose maybe halfway through, and then lead vocals is fine. We're going to make the changes after we've done it. So press record, and then let's do the cackle. Okay, you heard. There's my cackle. Let's play it back. Okay, so that sounds okay, but let's see if we can change some of these. So vocal hall means how big the room that we're playing this is in. So let's turn it right up. Okay. And let's turn the compressor up as well. So let's see how that sounds then. That sounds much better, doesn't it? You can hear that echo. So I'm going to keep it like that. Before we do the final track bit, I can make this a little bit smaller. So click it, and I would like to take away all the bits that are not my voice. So you see my voice is a little kind of squiggles there. So take away the bits that are not my voice, and that means you're not catching any of the background noise until you need it. So that is my track. I'm going to press play. Okay, so you can, of course, once you've created that, create lots of more sounds to this, but hopefully that's a good start for you. So that's it from this video. Hope you enjoy creating this, and I hope to see you in another video very soon. Have a spooky time.